Hey, can you chop the pineapple? Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So. I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
Eagle Eye TV has done a great job.
And welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Good evening. Welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. Tonight, President Donald Trump has signed the highly anticipated bill allowing the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. We'll look into what that may entail. Also, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers resigns. Plus, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman visits the White House.
We'll also take a look at how a political dispute among an FBI trainee and the Bureau is heading to the courtroom, Thanksgiving travel woes, what you need to know about this year's Black Friday deals, and more.
I'm Johnny Canninger.
And I'm Allison Thomas. Let's get right into it.
Our top story of the night. President Donald Trump has officially authorized the public release of all Jeffrey Epstein-related files. He announced on Truth Social Wednesday night that he signed a bill directing the Justice Department to do so. The signing comes a day after the measure passed the House 427-1. It passed the Senate through unanimous consent Wednesday morning. What's not known is how the Justice Department would release the files. The bill mandates that Attorney General Pam Bondi release all unclassified records tied to Epstein within 30 days. However, she has authority to withhold or redact information that could interfere with the federal investigation. For a more in-depth look, let's send it over to CNN's Evan Perez as he reports the latest from Washington, D.C.
President Donald Trump has signed the bill that requires the Justice Department to release documents from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The question now is what happens next? The Justice Department has an ongoing investigation. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, has assigned that to prosecutors in the Southern District of New York, and that investigation is now ongoing. During a press conference, the Attorney General addressed what happens now that investigation is ongoing, and now that Congress is requiring the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. Here's what she had to say.
Does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency.
Now, within the next 30 days, we anticipate that at least some of these documents are going to be released by the Justice Department. What is not going to be released is some of the terabytes of material that the Justice Department collected in its investigation of Epstein and of Ghislaine Maxwell, his accomplice, who allegedly helped traffic some of these young women. Any videos or any material that depicts child sex abuse is not going to be released by the Justice Department. Now, what is in play are some of the documents that might show some of the communications with people that were associated with Epstein, even people who are not credibly accused of any wrongdoing, people who continued to associate with him even after he was convicted in Florida for sex crimes. Those documents are likely now to see the light of day. The question is, how soon will that happen? Because there is an ongoing investigation, that material is now part of that investigation, and we anticipate that there might be some delay in when we see some of that material. Now, for the Justice Department, and certainly for the Attorney General, there's a bit of whiplash, because just a few days ago, the president ordered that investigation, and then just a couple of days later, he ordered Republicans, or told Republicans, that they should vote for the release of that very material that the Justice Department now is trying to figure out what to do with it. And so now we wait to see when we can see that information. The Attorney General says that she's going to comply with the law. How soon that happens is everyone's guess. Back to you.
Oh wait, that's rejoin. Online.
Thanks, Evan. Additionally, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers is resigning from the board of OpenAI as a result of the Epstein debacle. The move comes after a House committee released emails she had exchanged with convicted sex offenders. Those emails showed years of personal correspondence between the two men, including Summers making sexist comments and seeking Epstein's romantic advice. Since the release, Summers has said he was planning on stepping away from public commitments. Summers previously served as former President Bill Clinton's Treasury Secretary. He also was former President Barack Obama's National Economic Council Director, as well as Harvard University's president. Summers has been teaching at Harvard, and according to their school newspaper, The Crimson, the probe will also examine Epstein ties to other people associated with the university. That list includes Summers' wife and nearly a dozen other current and former Harvard affiliates, all of whom were implicated in the trove of Epstein's emails released last week. However, the school told The Crimson that he will not finish out the semester in that role. He announced Monday that he's withdrawing from public engagements and that he's deeply ashamed of his actions.
More news from the White House. President Donald Trump hosted Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at the White House on Tuesday with all the trappings of a state visit, complete with business leaders and stars of sports and entertainment. Prince bin Salman's first visit to the White House in more than 7 years was met with some controversy as President Trump lashed out at ABC correspondent who asked questions about the 2018 murder of Jamal Khashoggi. CNN's Kristen Holmes reports from the White House.
President Trump hosting lawmakers, celebrities, business leaders, and star athletes at the White House on Tuesday night in honor of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. They treated this visit like a state visit, although it can't officially be a state visit because he is not the leader. His dad, his father, the king, is still in charge of Saudi Arabia. But perhaps one of the most notable guests that was there for that state dinner and met with President Trump at the White House beforehand was Cristiano Ronaldo. He is arguably one of the most, if not the most famous soccer player in the world. He is the face of the Saudi Pro League, and he is somebody who really has an enormous fan base. It's not that surprising, again, given the fact that he's the face of the Saudi Premier League, that he would be there, for this meeting in particular. But it is incredibly interesting, given that we've heard him say that essentially he's going to be retiring at some point soon. Now, this visit, again, that was just the state dinner part of it. That's the glitz and the glamour. But the visit itself had all the trappings of an official state visit. President Trump rolled out the carpet, the red carpet, for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. He had horses greeting him. He had the Marine Band playing, and he lavished praise on the Crown Prince during their sit-down. In fact, so much so that he got defensive when he was asked a question by a reporter about the fact that intelligence agencies in the U.S. had found that the Crown Prince had likely directed Saudi agents to kill Jamal Khashoggi, the Washington Post reporter, in 2018. President Trump then stepping in at that point, essentially defending the Crown Prince, saying he was a great guy, that they were good friends, he didn't know anything about it, and at one point even almost seemingly blaming Khashoggi by saying he was a controversial figure. And then he said, things happen, again, in relation to this murder that took place in 2018. So that was a really stunning moment here, but it obviously very important for President Trump to maintain a relationship with Saudi Arabia. We saw that President Trump was one of the first people, one of the first trips he went on was to Saudi Arabia and these Gulf countries. But again, this was a stunning moment in this big, lavish celebration for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Thanks, Kristen. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, you'll get your weekly weather update with Eagle Eye's Kayla Dudinsky. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah! Sam, Elmo!
Oh, hey, Julia. Are you ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that...
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. My name is Kayla Dudinsky, here with your weather outlook for this week on the plains. The clouds will stick around tomorrow. With a high of 77 and low of 57, we're expecting the sun to stay hidden all day. That's in anticipation of a few showers early Saturday morning, but the sun will come out by mid-morning and stick around for kickoff at 1 p.m. Don't bother bringing a jacket to the game. Saturday has a high of 78 and a low of 65. Sunday will be a beautiful day for hopefully celebrating an Auburn win. The high will be 74 and low 52, with the sun shining all day long. Moving into next week, we're seeing generally cloudy skies, with the only potential for rain being Tuesday night. Temperatures will cool down only slightly in the beginning of the week, but by Thursday, the high will be in the low 60s and in the low 50s by Friday. And that's all for this week's Weather on the Plains. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Allison and Johnny have your national news update over at the desk. I'm your weather anchor, Kayla Dudinsky. Safe travels and happy Thanksgiving. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
My parents weren't fluent in English, so in school, I had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. You've already covered all things White House. Now let's get into some more of your national news headlines of the week. Start things off, a former FBI trainee is suing the Bureau. This individual is claiming he was wrongfully fired because he once displayed a pride flag at a previous agency field office workspace. The lawsuit states he was just a few weeks from graduation to become a special agent. David Maltinsky says he was called into a meeting with FBI officials last month and given a letter signed by Director Kash Patel. The suit claims his abrupt dismissal from the academy was due to showing, quote, political signage. The item in question, he says, was a rainbow flag gifted to him by his former supervisors. His lawsuit, which also names Patel, alleges his firing was illegal and politically motivated. Maltinsky calls his dismissal an effort to intimidate LGBTQ employees. He's asking a federal judge to reinstate him at the academy. The FBI did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
We're getting a look at military drills the U.S. is holding with Trinidad and Tobago on the Caribbean. The two nations started 5 days of drills on Sunday. It comes amid U.S. tensions with Venezuela, which is a few miles away from the twin island nation. The drills include a U.S. Marine unit already deployed in the region to support what the U.S. calls a mission to disrupt illicit drug trafficking. In recent weeks, the U.S. has amassed its naval forces in the Caribbean, including sending its largest warship to the region. Venezuela said it was responding with the launch of what it called a massive mobilization of military personnel, weapons, and equipment. This has raised fears that both Venezuela and the U.S. may be preparing for a larger conflict. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro criticized the drills in a speech Saturday, calling them irresponsible. He called for vigilance and accused the U.S. of pursuing a criminal war.
The Trump administration is advancing a major rollback of Biden-era endangered species protections. Wednesday, the Fish and Wildlife Service and National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration proposed restoring Trump-era rules that scale back safeguards for species threatened by development and climate change. The key change would allow economic factors to play a central role in deciding which plants and animals receive federal protection. The agencies also want to remove a, quote, blanket rule that automatically gives the threatened species the same protections as endangered ones. The proposed rule now enters a 30-day public comment period. Trump administration officials defended the move as, quote, common sense that respects jobs and land use. But environmental groups warn it could be devastating for endangered and threatened species.
Millions of Americans are expected to travel next week for Thanksgiving. Airports are bracing for the big crowds, and drivers are being warned to expect even more traffic this year. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan explains what travelers can expect in the skies and the worst times to hit the road next week.
Air travel is beginning to return to normal just in time for the busy Thanksgiving travel week. A welcome relief for many passengers whose travel plans were uprooted by delays and cancellations during the government shutdown.
Thank goodness it happened before the holidays because we all deserve good getaways.
As the government shutdown dragged on, the FAA reduced air traffic by 4% at 40 major airports across the country. It caused mass flight delays and cancellations. But transportation authorities gave airlines the green light to resume normal operations Monday, and the disruptions from the government shutdown appear to be over.
I think we're going to have a smooth, hopefully, Thanksgiving travel.
But travelers should still brace for long lines at airports and plenty of cars on the roads. AAA is projecting nearly 82 million people will travel 50 miles or more between Tuesday, November 25th and Monday, December 1st. That's a new record. At least 73 million of those travelers are expected to drive.
We're going to have more traffic and more congestion on the roads.
AAA spokesperson Aixa Diaz says those numbers could be even higher if people decide to drive instead of fly because they're worried about flight disruptions.
A lot of people are going to make that call, though, at the last minute.
If you are driving, AAA says the worst times to travel are Tuesday between noon and 9 p.m. and Wednesday between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. The worst time to return home is Sunday between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. Here's the good news for drivers. The national average for a gallon of regular gas is around $3.11 as of Wednesday, according to GasBuddy.com. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Thanks, Jen. Now it's time for your weekly entertainment update with Eagle Eye's very own Addie Tate. Addie, take it away.
If you're anything like my family, we love watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade every year. And I heard they're spicing things up this year with some brand new floats. LEGO is bringing a winter wonderland with penguins and yetis made to look like giant bricks. Lindt is turning chocolate into a swirling, elegant ballroom. Netflix is adding some Stranger Things fun with a giant Demogorgon puppet. Pop Mart is showcasing their playful Labubu characters. Serta is dreaming up a counting sheep float, and Holland America line is celebrating Alaska with glaciers, wildlife, and moving sculptures. Looks like this year's parade is going to be extra magical. An Australian man who accosted Ariana Grande in Singapore was sentenced to 9 days in jail Monday for being a public nuisance. Johnson Wen pleaded guilty to one charge of causing annoyance to the public after he jumped over the barricade at a premiere for Wicked for good on November 13th and rushed toward Grande. That's according to Singaporean news channel CNA. Video of the interaction showed the 26-year-old running up to Grande and throwing his arms around her as she walked the yellow carpet with the Wicked cast at Universal Studios Singapore. Grande's co-star Cynthia stepped in to push Wen away. Wen is known as a serial stage crasher. Social media users have criticized Wen in comments, calling his action unhinged and embarrassing. Big news for musical fans. Wicked for Good is set to explode at the box office. Analysts are projecting a $150 million plus opening weekend in North America, with some estimates going as high as $180 million. That's a massive leap from the first Wicked movie, which itself opened to around $112.5 million. The hype is real. Cynthia returns as Elphaba, Ariana Grande as Glinda, and the stakes are higher than ever, with the film picking up where the first left off. Some projections even point towards a $200 million global debut, thanks to strong pre-sales and a Thanksgiving holiday release window.
There's a house, and it's flying through the sky. I'm off to see the wizard.
A lot of people are off to see The Wizard this weekend. Box office watchers predict Wicked for Good could debut with $150 million or more. That would soar past the first Wicked film, which opened with $112.5 million this same weekend last year. The follow-up could score the biggest debut of the year. A Minecraft movie opened with $162.8 million back in April.
This isn't the end of the line.
Not for you. Neither is Being Over 50. One battle after another leads the nominations for this year's Movies for Grown-Ups Awards with AARP. It's up for 8 awards, including Best Movie for Grown-Ups. Also up for the top prize, A House of Dynamite with 3 nominations, Sinners, which also received 3 nods, Train Dreams with 2 nominations, and Hamnet. The Movies for Grown-Ups Awards, honoring the year's best film and TV, celebrating the voices and stories of the 50-plus, takes place January 10th in Beverly Hills and airs on PBS in February. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Bottom line, Wicked for Good isn't just a sequel, it's looking like a box office event. Get ready, because it's about to cast another spell on theaters. We are getting a sneak peek at the upcoming live-action movie, Legend of Zelda. New images showed up on the Nintendo app on Monday. They show actors Bo Braxton, who plays the magical Princess Zelda, and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, who plays the swordsman Link. Zelda, of course, is the popular action-adventure video game series that made its debut in the 80s. And the film is being produced by the same man who created those games along with Mario. Legend of Zelda is set to hit theaters on May 7th, 2027. For more Auburn news, head over to the website eagleeyeauburn.com and check out our social media pages. I'm Addie Tate, and you're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
I'm excited for that new Wicked movie, but Johnny here is more of a Zelda kind of guy. It's time for a quick break, but when we come back, you'll get your fill on all things sports with Eagle Eye's Ethan Clements. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader. Don't go anywhere.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Or that the projections would be flood next Thursday?
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Ethan Clements, back to give you your Auburn sports update from the Plains. Let's jump right on in. Big development in Auburn football after coming off last week's bye week. Freshman quarterback Deuce Knight has been announced as the starting quarterback for the upcoming game against Mercer on Saturday. Coach DJ Durkin, now serving as interim head coach, is making the switch to preserve Ashton Daniels' redshirt status. With 2 games remaining in the 2025 season, the Tigers have their sights set on a potential bowl game if the team is able to beat Mercer and spoil Alabama's playoff hopes with an Iron Bowl win, which would make the Tigers bowl eligible. Looking forward to next weekend, the 2025 Iron Bowl against the Alabama Crimson Tide has been announced as a 6 p.m. kickoff. We're all aware that Jordan Hare at night is a different atmosphere, with some of the best college football stories occurring right here on the Plains. Moving on over to volleyball, the Tigers are set to travel to Savannah, Georgia for the SEC tournament. The Tigers received a first-round bye after receiving the number 8 seed. The team will be back in action on the 22nd, facing the winner of Arkansas, Oklahoma. Big news for sophomore outside hitter Lauren Dreves. Dreves has been named first-team All-SEC, and she continues to bolster the Tiger offense and remain a top threat among the SEC. Passing the ball over to women's basketball, the Tigers are off to a historic start, going 5-0 to begin the season. Some of the biggest news came from 3,000 elementary school children visiting Neville Arena last week to cheer on the Tigers, which made for one of the most electric atmospheres in Neville Arena history. The news spread through social media and ESPN once the Tigers scored 67 points, where all in attendance went wild. On Monday, the Tigers faced Georgia State in a thriller, winning 69-65. The team will take on Rutgers this evening inside Neville Arena at 6 p.m. Wrapping it up for us tonight is men's basketball. The team faced number 1 ranked Houston in Birmingham, where the Tigers showed up and showed out for the Auburn family. The game proved to be intense, but Auburn came up short 73-72. Forward Keyshawn Hall dropped 20 points with 11 boards, and point guard Tahad Pettiford added 15 points of his own. Last night, the Tigers lit up Jackson State inside Neville Arena with a score of 112-66, led by Simon Walker, who went 5 for 5 on 3-point attempts. The Tigers will face Oregon on Monday in Las Vegas, Nevada for the Players Era Championship. That's all I have for you tonight. When we come back, you'll get a business consumer update from Johnny and Allison over at the desk. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We'll be right back.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay. You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in. Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. We're officially in the back half of the show, which means it's time for some business consumer news. Let's get right into it. If you drive a Ford, there's a recall alert you may need to know about. The automaker is recalling more than 200,000 Bronco and Bronco Sport vehicles, model years 2025 and 2026. The problem is with the instrument panel cluster, which includes the gauges and warning lights on the dashboard. Ford began receiving reports in September of blank screens upon startup. There have been no reports of accidents or injuries, but the failure could leave drivers without safety information and increase the risk of a crash. Ford will fix the issue free of charge, and owners will be notified by mail in December.
Auburn's most famous Tiger is ringing in the new year early. With the new year fast approaching, Auburn University's SGA has started selling the 2026 Aubie calendar. On the concourse, people were lined up to purchase their calendar, and Aubie even made a special appearance where he signed autographs and took photos with the Auburn family. The calendar planning begins in May, with most of the shoots taking place over the summer. This year's theme is Through the Eye of the Tiger and features many things that center around both Aubie and Auburn itself. We had the chance to speak with the director of Aubie, M.K. Magruder, to hear a little more about the event.
When people are around Aubie, they feel invited into something, and that's something that's so invaluable. It's like everyone wants to be seen and valued and loved, and Aubie just has that ability to do that with quite literally anyone that he meets, especially Auburn students. And so this is just an opportunity for them to be able to give back to the program and support Aubie, especially as we get ready to go to Orlando again for national championships and hopefully bring home number 12.
The calendars are selling for $12. The money raised from the sale helps fund Aubie's trip to nationals in Orlando and pays for his costumes and props throughout the year. Staying on campus, this past Monday, Auburn Circle hosted their semesterly Snaps Night in the Auburn Student Involvement Center. Students gathered to perform their poetry in front of other attendees. Once their time was up, the audience did not clap or cheer, they snapped. Even on a night where emotions were high, audience members snapped as loud as they could to make the performers' voices heard. After the event, Auburn Circle handed out free magazines on the concourse. During this time, we had the chance to catch up with Denison Justice to hear his thoughts regarding the event.
Snaps,
Shifting from
the
campus
name,
news to the
comes from the tradition of when poetry is read aloud, the audience, instead of like clapping, they'll like snap as the applause. So that's like kind of where like the name of Snaps originates.
Shifting from campus news to the food industry, Taco Bell is rolling out 3 new items nationwide, all created by real fans. Starting today, November 20th, the Cantina Craze, California Crunchwrap, and Burrito Bliss will be available for a limited time. Fan-made lineup features a steak and fries twist on the classic Crunchwrap, a grilled vegetarian remix of the cheesy bean and rice burrito, and a loaded version of the Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco. Taco Bell loyalists were invited to share their ideas for the creation of these new menu items. After more than 40,000 submissions, 3 so-called honorary fan chefs were chosen to bring their flavor ideas to stores across the country. Typical levels of fluoride in community drinking water do not impair cognitive abilities and may even boost them. That's according to a new study published Wednesday in the journal Science Advances. Using decades of test scores from nearly 27,000 Americans, scientists found students with full childhood exposure to recommended fluoride levels scored higher than those with no exposure. The data showed no signs of cognitive decline later in life. The study challenges claims sparked by a recent government study that linked fluoride to lower IQ. That report focused on extremely high exposure, more than double federal limits, and offered insufficient data on typical levels. This year, Utah and Florida became the first 2 states to ban fluoride in community drinking water.
You never know where you might find love, like maybe the swimming pool or the mini golf course. An Illinois couple who met at the YMCA water aerobics class tied the knot, and they held the ceremony in the very same pool where their romance began. 82-year-old Edward LaRue met 78-year-old Marlene Parsons in the class in Maryville. They had both lost their longtime spouses 6 years earlier. But after some playful splashing, they realized how much they liked each other. It turns out that the aquatics director is a minister, so they decided to take the big plunge in the pool. The wedding included a bouquet toss and a dance. They even ended the ceremony the way their romance started, with some playful splashing. Our final story of the evening, Black Friday is a little more than 1 week away, and the National Retail Federation forecasts the first $100 trillion holiday season ahead. But consumers may not get bang for all of those bucks. Corinne Capia is in Washington with what consumers need to know about this year's deals and sneaky surprises.
Hey, Brad, for months, retailers have been anticipating this collision between tariffs and the holiday spending season. And cost-conscious consumers can still stretch a dollar, but some shortcuts could end up more costly without a little bit of caution.
Popular holiday gifts like toys, apparel, and electronics are among the most imported and most impacted by the Trump administration's tariffs.
The uncomfortable reality of it all is that the sort of things that we want this Christmas
or in past Christmases, is stuff that is no longer produced in the United States.
Russell Hawley, director of shopping content for CNET, says some tech and toy manufacturers have made changes to trim their costs.
There have been a number of manufacturers that have made it clear that they're going to, in order to adjust to tariffs, do things like remove batteries. So the batteries would need to be a separate purchase. The packaging may be different.
Purchasing items brought in before tariffs took effect may help consumers save, but Holly says do some research, especially with tech, to make sure it's worth it.
We've seen quite an increase in people shopping, refurbished versions of models of things that they are interested in order to get that, kind of extra savings. My biggest recommendation to anybody going that route is to just read the fine details.
David Bieri, associate professor of economics at Virginia Tech, says online shoppers who find big deals need to note where the item ships from.
If you're doing direct imports or have FedEx or DHL or UPS or even the US Postal Service act as your importer, you will have to carry the cost.
The de minimis rule had long kept low-value packages entering the U.S. tariff-free. That exemption ended in August.
And for those hoping that the Supreme Court might step in and play the role of Santa, their decision on the tariffs isn't expected until next year. And even if the justices did render a decision, businesses have already paid those tariffs on items they've brought in for the holidays. Brad?
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. But for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages.
Until next time, we'll be keeping an eagle's eye on all things you need to know. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Allison Thomas.
And I'm Johnny Canninger. Good night, Auburn. Happy Thanksgiving, and War Eagle!
Hey!
My parents weren't fluent in English, so in school, I had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.